Hi, Palians! With the introduction of the 0.203 Summer Patch, Bahari Bliss, we now have more items to purchase at the Amber store. Additionally, unlocking the Rift Rock takes 6,000 Amber. It can feel kind of slow gathering Amber sometimes, unless you want to spend your weekend running around the Royal Highlands in large loops. So I'm here to offer a few alternatives to just aimless gathering. However, that's an absolutely valid way to generate Amber if that's what you want to do. For everything we're about to talk about, the rarer the item that you're harvesting, the better the Amber yield will be. So your spawn RNG will play a part of how much Amber Echo you're actually able to generate. And remember, if the node is encased in Amber, it'll give more Echo when gathered. So editing Lumi here, I just wanted to add that don't forget about your relics. Bellefontaine's relic is going to increase all of your non-Echo resource gain, and then Ilion's blessing is going to actually increase your Amber Echo collection rate. So I would suggest having the Ilion's blessing equipped at all times if you're going for Amber Echo. And if you're not necessarily looking for Amber, I would go with the Bellefontaine's. First up is the Frogs vs. Crabs World Event. This event occurs daily at 7 a.m. on the beaches of the Royal Highlands, and it provides either gold or amber, depending on which creature you decide to capture for the event. The crabs give about 6 amber per common crab, while the frogs give a similar amount of gold. Depending on who wins, you then will get a lump sum reward in addition to what you gathered during the event, in the form of a treasure chest. There's also a chance that you'll get other goodies, like food, star quality crabs and frogs, and even potentially a plushie. I wouldn't suggest hunting as the only method of gaining amber. However, if you're out anyways for plushies, meat, hide, or floofs, you'll notice that you're passively gaining amber from those kills. You'll need to hunt masked creatures for the treasure vaults in the Royal Highlands, as well as some of their drops for the June bundles and the relic rings, such as Alone's Blessing 2 and Bellefontaine's Blessing 3. The magical creatures are harder to kill, but they reward you with more amber. I found killing the masked creatures tends to be easier than the regular Sernooks and the Jack Cats, so this is an option if you're doing it anyways. Let's talk about foraging. Gathering any of the gatherable items that you see will give you Amber Echo passively as well. This includes the new lumber. It's not a terrible source, and especially if you need the items for the bundles, crafting, or the relics. However, I wouldn't suggest using this method exclusively for farming Echo. Now, when it comes to mining, it gives a decent amount of amber per mining node. This does depend on rarity of the node, the size of the node, and the type of the node. The upside to mining for amber, much like with lumbering, is the reward of getting the material that you need for crafting, especially in the bundles and the relics. I think mining is a great option because in addition to getting amber, you're able to get starstones, including the new sunstone that was just released, and you may also get a bug. The jeweled mantis, which is one of the bugs that can potentially spawn, actually gives a sizable amount of amber per catch. I do want to preface, if you look at the general spread of the skills that I've leveled, I'm genuinely not a fan of fishing and bug catching in general. As you can see, they're my lowest skills. However, the next two options net some of the best amber gain in the entire game right now. In addition to giving some of the best amount of amber, I suggest doing fishing because you're still going to be able to work on your bundles and your relics. If you see someone call out a chum bucket in chat, go to them immediately. The chum bucket costs 5,000 amber to unlock the actual recipe itself, and it's an expensive craft. However, it acts kind of like a lure for fish. It creates a radius where when you fish within it, you're able to catch only starred fish. This gives extra amber. This is super important for some of the relics, but more importantly, it nets more amber per catch. From a few chum buckets, I was able to get a couple thousand amber within probably about half an hour. So, for the best option, in my opinion. I genuinely dislike bug catching. It's annoying, it's tedious, but it's the best amber generator in the game right now, in my opinion. I've gained a few levels in bug catching just from farming rare bugs and foraging while I'm looking for them. The best yield is going to be the rarer bugs, and you're going to get the absolute best yield if you're able to find them encased in amber. In order to minimize bomb loss, I suggest you save your good bombs for the rare and legendary bugs such as the Ironfield Moth and the Flame Pixie. Using the basic bombs from Zaku's store for everything else is perfectly fine, you just may have to hit them a few times. Don't forget to use your smoke candle to avoid spooking bugs. So the best path I've found so far is to go from the camp at E6 down through the House of Nightshade to approximately where the stable is and the beach, over to Luden's Wall, then back up to Amber Lake, through the path there, and then back up to the camp in about E6, taking that upper path. In my opinion, I think that the House of Nightshade location is the best possible location to do this kind of farming, and if you do a big enough loop, things will start respawning by the time that you make it back. The House of Nightshade has some of those better bug spawns, including the Einfield Moth, and I think I've seen a Flame Pixie there before, in addition to having the Golden Fern forageable, and it has really great ore locations. So I think doing this is the best return for the amount of time that you're going to be spending actually farming, and you're going to get multiple different forms of material. So personally, what I've been doing, and what net me about 4,000 amber in a couple of hours, was running from the Royal Hunting Grounds down to Luden's Wall. I was harvesting ore whenever I saw a node that I was really interested in, such as like iron, jadium, or gold. And then I grabbed any gatherables that I saw along the way that were uncommon or above. I also stopped for any bugs that I spotted that were either uncommon or above, preferably rare or legendary. I also stop every hour in real life time for the Frog vs. Crab event at 7 a.m. in-game time. That way I could get the rewards from that. And typically when I'm doing it, I'm going for the crab side so that I'm able to get extra amber. Lastly, whenever I see someone doing a chum bucket or a honey lure and they've called it out in chat, I'm going to join them as often as I'm actually able to. So in summary, like I said at the beginning, it's totally fine to just kind of pick and choose whatever you want to do. Choose something that you find really enjoyable and stick to it. Or choose a few different types of amber generation methods and get a bunch of different resources that you're going to be able to use for your bundles and your relics and other crafting. Ultimately, I think it's going to do more good for you to do what you really enjoy doing rather than just sticking to one grinding method. However, if you want to do loops around Amber Lake and the House of Nightshade, that's totally cool too. It's whatever you find enjoyable. Pretty much any of the methods that I've talked about in this video are going to net you a good amount of amber per hour. It's really just going to come down to your RNG and if you're able to get rare nodes. Thanks for taking the time to watch my Amber Echo Guide. Please leave a comment below if you have any other suggestions. It really helps the community out. I'd appreciate a like to help with the algorithm, and a subscribe if you want to see more Palia videos from me. Have a wonderful rest of your day and enjoy your hard-earned Amber Echo loot. Bye.